Today on Critical Issue, the situations developing in the Middle East, specifically Syria, and more on the major humanitarian crisis unfolding there, plus nations on the edge of war, the conflict between Iran and Israel, and what this will mean for the United States. Also, the economy on the rise and how this will affect the remainder of the political campaign. And we're right around the corner for Super Tuesday. We'll discuss the race for 2012. The countdown is on. Those stories and more coming up next on Critical Issue. Hello everyone and welcome to Critical Issue. I'm Richard Giacobas, and today we have 4 people on our panel, so let's introduce them once again, starting with our political roundtable, Chris Massaro from ICTV News, Chief Political Correspondent. Chris, welcome.
Rich.
CJ Finero, our political analyst.
Thanks for having me, Rich.
Kenny Reichman, anchor of This Week at Iona.
Glad to be
Kenny,
back.
welcome back. And Pat Sullivan, who is also another political analyst.
Did
Pat,
y'all
welcome.
miss me?
Okay. Let's start now with our first issue. And Chris, obviously we'll start with you on this, since you're specify in talking about the Middle East. The crisis currently unfolding in Syria, what's going to mean for all the politically unstable Middle Eastern area if you're looking at Syria and those that don't know about it?
Well, it's definitely troubling because the players in the Middle East, they want Assad out because Assad is basically the main ally of Iran and Ahmadinejad and the Ayatollah. So if you get Assad out of there, that basically leaves the Ayatollah and Iran with no allies. So It's crucial for the Middle Eastern nations, Israel and the United States, to get Assad out. But what's going on over there is extremely troubling. What's also very problematic about it is the international community can't do anything about it because the UN has been neutered because of Russia and China and opposition to any sort of measures to take action in Syria.
Well, as of this week, 7,500 people have died in Syria.
It's worse than Libya. It's worse than Libya, but it's totally different because the circumstances were different.
So how should the West react with all those deaths?
It's atrocious. I mean, this is basically what happened in Libya. We've seen it before in the 90s, you know, in Rwanda, in Bosnia, in Kosovo, these mass atrocities. And it's difficult to act because of the political environment. You know, every situation is different. Like I said, in Libya, Gaddafi was expendable, he has no allies, and the international community was basically united in getting him out of there. Assad actually has regional allies like Iran, and he's got international recognition and alliances with Russia and China. So anything that the international community wants to do, Russia and China will object. So there's probably no way that we can act in Syria.
Right, well, should the UN bypass China with Russia's opposition to the crackdown in Syria?
Well, the only way to do that would be to invoke the Uniting for Peace resolution, which has never been done, and that would be to go around the Security Council through the General Assembly, and that would be a way to take action. But that's also problematic because that's going around to major regional actors. That would be like if Russia and China went around the United States' veto to try to take action somewhere else. It's condemnation for a major player in the international community.
So just to wrap this topic up, Chris, where do we stand in 6 months?
6 months from now in Syria, I mean, I think the Assad regime is going to do all that it possibly can to hold on to power. I mean, the Alawites, which is the main sect of Islam that has controlled this country since Hafez al-Assad, his father, was in power, and even before that during French occupation in World War I. They've controlled this society for so long, they're going to hold on to it as long as they possibly can. So I don't think that he's going to gracefully step down, as we saw with Mubarak and in Tunisia. So he's going to try to stay in power as long as possible.
Okay, well, we'll continue to follow Syria as we move on. And again, this is not a one-on-one with Chris.
I was about to say, is this a Chris Massaro show now? Like, come on now.
We do have other guests.
Currently unfolding in the Middle East, the tensions between Iran and Israel. Pat, I will start with you. For those who may not know, can you explain what's happening in Iran and Israel?
Yeah, I actually can, for the most
Can't
part.
wait to hear this.
We'll do it. Well, basically, as I assume most people would know, Israel and Iran have not been the best of friends for time immemorial, whatever that Latin expression is. But, I mean, Iran has continuously stated, press, media, Ahmadinejad, Grand Ayatollah, that they want to wipe Israel off the face of the map. They want to do anything in its power to destroy it, get rid of it. And, they're not the only ones. They're the most explicit, but, I mean, Israel, in its little sphere over there, doesn't have a whole lot of friends, given the whole incident between Palestine and Judaism and Muslim, as usual, religions clashing at each other. Basically, Israel is on its own, and with advances in Iran's nuclear program, or rather I should say supposed advances, since we don't really have a whole lot of evidence of this, despite what the media may be telling you, but...
Invoking Tom Cameron.
Invoking Tom Cameron. But no, Israel has plans, whether or not they'll go through with it, to strike Iran come in the spring and disrupt their program and ultimately escalate full-out war.
Well, Kenny, what point do you think the United States will become involved, if...
I don't think they should. That's my personal opinion. Is what happens over there should stay over there. Is that what is going to happen, though? No, because Israel is our friend, and as much as Obama doesn't want to admit it, he needs to help them, and we will help them because he will. Barack Obama is only one man, and the rest of the country knows that Israel is someone that we need to help. Is a place that is friendly to us, and we will help them. Is it the right decision? No. We'll be there sooner than not, and it's a little scary considering what's going on in Syria as well.
Prepared before we know that Israel is going to take action with Iran.
And that's problematic because if Israel takes a unilateral action against Iran without us knowing, Iran could wreak havoc with insurgents in Afghanistan. They've been doing that since the war started. They did it in Iraq. And that's why it's crucial that we do not let Iran get a nuclear weapon, because they have a history of supplying non-state actors like Hezbollah, like Hamas, and the Taliban in Afghanistan and Iraq, or Al-Qaeda in Iraq, providing them with weapons and funds. So if they do get nuclear capabilities, I would not be shocked at all if they would transfer that to these other actors.
Well, I'd say at the same time, too, however, let's take a quick flashback here. The war in Iraq, I mean, the whole nuclear problems there. While, yes, Iran does have a nuclear program, and while there's a recurring theme that they don't explicitly have nukes yet, and the media is having a circus, like, oh, Iran threat, nuclear threat,
well, that was the next question I was going to get to.
Yeah.
They may not have them yet, but Chris waited on this before.
Yeah, like, that's the question. They don't have it yet. They are obviously in the process of getting it. At what point do we say, this is unacceptable? When do we intervene to prevent this from happening?
They're not a stable place. They're not somebody you can allow to, have nuclear weapons.
And they're not our friend. We need to recognize that, and we also need to know that action needs to be taken towards them. Now, if this is in the form of an Israeli attack, since Israel has been the main enemy of Iran, and as you mentioned earlier, Ahmadinejad wants to wipe them off the face of the map, I think it's absolutely okay and almost justified for Israel to strike an attack upon Iran.
I mean, they've done it before. They did it in Iraq in '82. They did it in Syria in 2000. So this is, the precedent has been set. But to say that, oh, the media is just hyping this up just to get ratings, I think that's kind of false to say, because the IAEA report did say that Iran is not having this nuclear facility for peaceful purposes. They are indeed looking for a nuclear weapon. They've said it. They said it's their inherent right, and that would make them the most powerful actor in the Middle East.
Yeah. Right. I just another thing too. I mean, while raise valid points, I mean, the point is, if we're gonna go and make action in Iran with Israel, this time, let's get the facts straight, all right? Let's not make some bullshit from politicians or weapons companies or things like that. People just want to profit. Get the real deal, the real facts. Media needs to do its job this time.
Well, actually, Israeli President Shimon Peres is meeting with President Obama this weekend. What do you think will come of that meeting, CJ?
Hopefully we can try to work on our relationship and repairing those ties. As we said earlier, with this whole relationship breakdown, things need to be repaired if we want to know what Israel is doing and what their plans are. This is an extremely pivotal talk. Personally, I don't think we're going to see much out of this. I think how we had the president of Israel, I believe it was last year, meet with the president. I think we need another one of those. I think that's how you'll really make some strides in trying to repair this relationship.
Yeah, not just pleasantries and politics.
Okay.
It's actually a real word.
Another story.
Look it up.
Well, we're going to be covering the Middle East for you for a while, so stay with us on that.
Something's
now,
always happening there.
To what's happening closer to home, the race for 2012 Super Tuesday is March 6th. So we're going to do a lightning round, and I think I'm going to start with Pat this time.
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah?
Give me, if you have a candidate that you like.
All right, well, let me tell you guys
Quickly,
here.
lightning
All
round.
right, Obama. I hate all the Republican candidates.
Oh,
I hate
boy.
Obama. Mitt Romney, he failed governing Massachusetts. He can't do a country. But with Obama, At least he's killing bad guys. Killing a lot of friendlies, innocent people too, but still killing bad guys. Okay. Number 1.
Kenny?
I'm a little nervous about the innocent
hard
people
to
being
follow
murdered.
Lightning round!
Sorry. Ron Paul. Moving on.
Ron Paul. Still Ron Paul?
Still. I'm still on the Paul train.
Wow. Well, okay.
Since this president has taken office, we've lost almost 10 million jobs.
What does nobody get about
Our
lightning?
deficit has tripled.
Right?
Gas prices have risen. This economy needs a recovery from the recovery. And what needs to happen is a person who's been in the private sector, like Mitt Romney, who's been a fantastic governor, cut taxes.
He has not been a fantastic
created a
governor.
surplus.
Objection!
Are you kidding
Have
me?
you lived in Massachusetts?
I haven't, but I know what he's done.
I've been there. I have been there.
Yeah, and 98% of the people are covered. He failed your state. Are you kidding me?
He cannot run a country.
But he did
Are you
run
familiar with the Big
Massachusetts.
Dig? Are you not effectively? Are you familiar with the Big Dig?
Are you familiar with this health care law where he covered 98% of people and all children in Massachusetts? Not extremely.
All right. Well, the Big Dig was a 10-year construction project, which was to make going to Boston a whole lot faster. With him in charge, we lost jobs and people died because of his failed. Your trusted contractor.
And with President Obama, 25 million jobs were kept out of the American people's hands because we're scared of trees. We're scared of cutting down trees.
It's all right, guys. I'm a political candidate. I'll get jobs. Every political candidate said they'll get jobs.
Yeah, but here's the deal. We have someone who has experience.
Wow.
Bush didn't have experience.
Bush
Obama
experience.
didn't have experience. Clinton didn't have experience. They were all stuck. They were all stuck with their heads up the public sector's butt.
Wow.
We finally have someone who actually went out there, who reformed Staples, who reformed Sports Authority, who reformed businesses, who created jobs, who cut taxes. That's who I want.
Still ain't doing
That's
better
Mitt
after
Romney.
his wake.
It sure is under their health care law.
Well, Pat, you just still not, because I remember you saying you weren't going to vote. You still not vote?
No, as I was a political person and as an American citizen, I mean, it's my right to vote. If I don't vote, then
so who will you
I don't
vote
have.
for?
Like I said, Obama, probably, regrettably.
Go to Obama because.
Like I said, he's good at killing bad guys.
And
He's failed in a lot of everything else, but
lightning round continues.
Can you finish the lightning round?
The thing about Romney is that he has no confidence in the Republican base, and voter enthusiasm is so important, and that's what lacked in 2008. Nobody is excited to go to the voting booth and say, oh, hey, I'm going to pull the lever for Romney, you know, he's so great. Nobody's saying that. Everyone is reluctantly going in there voting for Mitt Romney. Hang on, and this reminds me specifically of the election of 1976. Nobody was excited to go out there and vote for Gerald Ford. Everyone wanted to vote for the conservative candidate Ronald Reagan, but the establishment was behind Gerald Ford. There's many parallels to this now.
Because why?
Because nobody's excited to go out and vote for Mitt Romney. And when you don't have voter enthusiasm in electoral politics, that's key. You're going to lose.
Why is he not getting
because
to the base?
Because one of the fundamental issues that Romney has had in Massachusetts was that Massachusetts healthcare plan, and the Republican base 100% is against that. It was a model for Obamacare at the state level. How can Romney, as a candidate, go up against Obama
failed the state and failed the country
in a debate? How can he go up in a debate and say Obamacare has failed when his model in the state was basically set the foundation?
Oh, but I flip-flop each issue anyways, just to further my career.
Hang on.
The lightning round needs to be ended.
I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to reluctantly go to the voting booth and probably vote for Mitt Romney because I think he has the best chance at beating Barack Obama.
Well, it's not going to be President Santorum, I don't think.
It's not going to be because he puts his foot in his
Let's
mouth
hope not.
much.
Here's the deal with Mitt Romney. We can draw parallels to the 1980 election, in my opinion, where people thought Reagan was simply an actor at this point in the race. And the primaries were still being conducted. So what we have right now is someone who's failing to excite the conservative base, but who is, just in legacy, a moderate Republican. Now, this country
He used to be a liberal, believe it or not.
This country, and so was Reagan. This country happens to fall middle right. That's where Romney is. And I think that people, once they see where his policies are, again, we're only looking at Republicans right now. We're only looking at conservatives. But when moderates and independents and disenfranchised Democrats, and there's a hell of a lot of them out there who voted for Obama and are having voters' remorse, will say Romney is the person that not only I can feel like I'll vote for, and you know, because he's better than Obama, but who I actually like and can get something done and put the nation back on track.
I just don't
see it
see
happening.
He feels good things done in Massachusetts.
I don't think people trust Romney because of his flip-flops.
Exactly.
That's very important in politics.
Do you agree with that, CJ? Because you know what? He's not getting the momentum that he should be getting if he's going to be the candidate.
He is outspending candidates 6-1 in some states and still having trouble winning those states. In his home state, he split the delegate count.
And wait till Obama throws $1 billion plus at him.
Yeah,
But let me
he's
tell
going to
you
get
why.
outspent in the
Right
general
now,
election if he even gets the
We're only
nomination.
competing against conservatives.
Yeah, but that's
And
not
he's failing
good.
to win them.
That's not good. If
And
you
they-
are spending this much
they-
time competing against your own party
Not to mention,
to get a nomination.
Let me add on to that. When we look at 2008 compared to now, voter turnout now is significantly lower than it was in 2008. And that was with John McCain, okay, who was a
in mind-
known moderate, almost on the liberal wing of the
I voted for
Republican
him,
Party.
actually.
On average, I loved McCain, war hero.
Not a lot of.
On average, 45% of Republicans are still unsure about their candidate. We still have a large pool of candidates.
Why
at
is
this
that
point.
okay, though?
It's not okay,
Okay.
but it's saying that there are Republicans out there.
It may
Newt
seem
Gingrich.
like it's not around the corner, but it is.
It is, but
Super Tuesday.
Newt Gingrich, Rick Santorum, and Ron Paul
More excited about Mass
each
Effect.
think that they can do it better. Now that says something about the Republican Party. That we've got a few people out there who are proud to represent our issues, who are proud to say we're going to take them to the presidency, and we're going to run this White House, and we're going to put the country back on track.
Oh, well, that's
That
Mitt
doesn't-
Romney, where one day it says, "Oh yes, I'll support your issue," then the next day, "Oh no, I'm supporting you guys."
Well, the
depends
great thing
on who
about
he's talking to.
the
It
great thing
depends,
about
but,
Mitt
you know.
Romney and the great thing about Obama and Ron Paul is Obama and Ron Paul, they're ideologues. They haven't changed their ideas since the early 70s. They never will. And I don't like that because if you're going to get things done like Clinton did in 1992, we remember when he was, for the first
Wow.
2 years, a ridiculous liberal president. And then after 2
was
years
93.
with Newt
40%
Gingrich,
change.
93, 94, he decided to lean to the right, where when most presidents lean to the right to get things done. That's what
A lot of them
Romney.
did.
Well, that was because we were forced to because of the electoral change in Congress, and that's why winning the Senate is going to be key in
President
2012.
Obama was not as far left
Hey,
as
wrap
when
it
he
up.
originally ran on that campaign when he got into office.
That's
he did
true.
start leaning more independent. I wouldn't say right, but independent.
That's very true, but we knew Obama's ideas. We also we know Ron Paul's ideas, what I'm trying to say with Mitt Romney. He's changed his ideas, and I like that because I don't want a rigid ideologue. I want someone who can be bipartisan in Washington and who says, you know, this idea is good one day, but you know what? Now that I've looked at it and I've changed over time and my perspective is
nothing's gonna
differently,
get done.
this is
You
different
have to
and I
take a
like
stand
it.
in something.
is
You
that-
have to
is that-
take a stand, and
is that-
President Obama has not done that.
Is that pragmatism
You
or is that
can't.
expediency? That's what it comes down to. Did he flip-flop just to win these various offices?
I would have to
or
say
is he
yes.
truly pragmatic and his ideas have
Or is it a
evolved over
political
time?
show?
I
I
don't
would just say,
think it
look at
has.
his plans. He's
Valid,
got a 70-page
valid.
economic plan, which kicks
Every
the butt
president
out
has
of
had
the
hundreds of
stimulus
pages of
Everybody's got
economic
economic
plans.
Okay,
Then
but-
they get into office. Oh, I didn't realize the budget. Sorry, I can't do a whole lot.
Listen,
That's what Mitt Romney
but
did in
he's got-
Massachusetts, ironically enough.
The funny part is Mitt Romney actually has a budget plan. Mitt Romney has a real tax plan. Barack Obama came to the office with no plans except a giant Democrat pork barrel stimulus plan.
That's all
that
political
did nothing.
rhetoric. That's all political rhetoric. Don't take anything into account when they say, "Oh, I'm going to create this many jobs." Romney said he's going to create 11 million jobs.
Once he
Okay,
gets,
in this
if he wins,
environment,
once he gets
it's
off,
all
I
political
guarantee.
rhetoric.
Oh, yeah, about what I said there. Oh, I'm doing this now because we don't have enough money like I thought we did, and my plans failed.
That's why he's cutting and Obama's spending. That's why there's a spender and a cutter. That's why there's someone who doesn't
Well, I
plan
agree with you
deficit
need to cut
and someone who
spending,
likes
but-
cutting it. I mean, that's his plan. What else are we going to trust?
There's also a
Then
little
let's
something
not
called
vote in
Congress that we
politics.
have to worry about too, because
Then
the president can't
democracy
actually
fails.
unilaterally cut stuff. There has to go through Congress. So, and we're going to have a divided Congress
Right, it's
probably.
not all
Next time we'll do a lightning round.
Yeah, great lightning
That was
round.
that was
For a
a
lightning
thunder and
round.
lightning round.
But you know
whole
what?
storm.
It's getting
Too
late
intense.
early,
Yeah.
and
And
before
it's
you know it,
not
we'll have
okay.
our candidate. So we'll see which one
No, we
that
won't.
is. CJ's hoping it's Romney. You're reluctantly hoping it's Romney.
We don't have a TR, we don't have a Lincoln, we don't have a Reagan in this election.
I think we might.
That's the problem.
I should be the
nobody
president.
knows.
Fact.
No,
And that's
there,
not
no,
okay.
there is none. There is
We
no,
didn't
there is
know
no
Reagan
dynamic.
Because we're going to
game-changing
end
candidate.
up
didn't
with President-elect
know-
Santorum, and I am so
watch
sad
those
about
words.
it.
We didn't know Reagan was Reagan until September of
All right.
1980. Or
Good
1979.
night. Good night.
All right, we have to wrap. But thank you guys very much. It was a very interesting discussion today.
Thanks for having
Pat,
us.
You were a great asset to our panel, as much as you may not
Or a
be
great
on the
ass.
same.
I'm a little wet now, but it's okay.
Thank you for
Do what I
joining us,
can.
everybody, on this edition of Critical Issue. We'll see you right back here next week.